Hello, my fellow creepers, my fellow YouTuber creepers. How's everybody doing? Um, I thought I would talk about or tell this quick story time video before I have to get ready for work. So, I am wearing my pajamas. I tend to be kind of lazy before I have to go in to work. If I don't have to be ready before 5, I'm fine. Or in this case, 3:30. So I'm fine. Um, so this story time video is actually related to when I went to Florida, January of 2018, to visit my mom, or yeah, my mother, whatever. A woman who I don't really particularly have a great relationship with, but she's my mom. I'm her daughter. Gotta be cordial. You know, you know. So this video is the time when we had no way of getting home from the airport. And my mom did not want to pay my dad to bring us to bring us home from the airport because it was a mess. It was just a freaking mess. So I'll start off with this. So I went to Florida in January of 2018 for my birthday. If you go back on my channel further back a couple months ago, I made a video as to that trip and why I probably will not go again to visit my mother anytime soon. And this was actually one of the reasons why. So I always say this in most of my videos. My parents are split. My mom does not get along with my dad. We don't know why. We feel as though she's intimidated. We don't know why. So my dad was nice enough to bring me and my grandmother, so my mom's mom. May I remind you, my mom's mom and my parents are split. Although my grandma still considers my dad her son-in-law, and my dad still considers to be his mom-in-law. It's a weird situation, but you know what? We get along and we like that. Me and my dad and my grandma. So my dad offered to bring us to the airport. Now at this time we still did not have a ride, and we were arguing with a couple of my aunts because they felt as though it was not necessary to bring their mother and their niece home from the airport. They just did not think it was appropriate. They didn't want anything to do with it, and one of them went as far as saying, well, maybe Scott should do it. Scott's my father, and he brought us to the airport without being asked. So we were going through vacation. I was still very sick. I was very bleh. I was not having a good time, and I wasn't having a good time with my mom anyway. So we get to the around the last 2 days of the trip, and my grandma says, "Well, why don't we ask your cousin Sam and her boyfriend to bring us home?" And I don't know. I don't know my cousin's boyfriend. I never met him. I don't know him, and plus on top of it, I don't get along with my cousin. We just don't get along. We're two different people on different sides of the spectrum. She's one way, I'm another way. We just don't click. And plus, she's like, let's see, she's 7 years younger than me. So basically, we don't really get along. We don't have a relationship. I don't like her. She doesn't like me. And my grandma's like, well, why don't we just ask her boyfriend? No, I flipped out. I said no. I'd rather walk home from Bradley International Airport at that point. So, one of the options that we had was that my dad pick us up. But my dad was like, listen, if I'm bringing you there and I'm bringing you back because your aunts are not helping you and they're not helping bringing their mother home, I would at least expect your mom to give me X amount of dollars for gas, food, and the round trip overall. And he was not going to charge much. He was like going to charge like $60. My mom flat out refused. My mom flat out refused, and I was like, why are you refusing? Just pay him the fucking money, just do what you gotta do. You know. And of course, she really had nothing to worry about because she had her ride home from dropping us off at the airport. So, one of the things that she was looking at was an Uber. Now, like I said, I live about an hour from Bradley International Airport in Hartford. So I did not feel very comfortable taking an Uber that long or a Lyft, but it was whatever. So at this point, my mom was still refusing to pay my dad $60 for gas, round trip, and whatever, blah blah blah, taking time out of his day to blah blah blah. So the other thing that we had was we were either gonna do an Uber, a Lyft, or a van, which was gonna be like the van was gonna be like over $100 just to bring us home from Hartford. So that wasn't gonna work. So at this point in time, mom is still flat out refusing to pay dad for gas or whatever the cost was, and we still did not have a ride home. So basically, we were coming from Florida on the plane, which is like a 3-hour flight, go from Florida to Hartford, and we still had no ride home. By the second to last day, I am freaking out because I have no way home. I got no way home. Mom's not gonna pay dad. We still are not set as to what the hell we're doing, and I don't know what we're doing, and I'm freaking the hell out. And I'm like, oh my god, we have no way home. Like, what the hell? And I'm the one that brought my grandma to Florida with me to watch her. I helped her get on the plane. I helped her get situated. I made sure, she had whatever she needed. I made sure she was in a wheelchair and someone was pushing her. It was very stressful. And on top of that, I was sick. I had a cold or a flu or something. I just was not feeling great. So the time comes to, it's again like the second to last day or the third to last day that we're there. And I call my dad, and I am just freaking the hell out. Like, I'm like, Dad, we got no way home. No one's helping us. Aunt blah, 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 and Aunt blah, blah, blah are not helping us whatsoever. They're telling us nothing but excuses. They're like, well, I have to watch so-and-so, and then I have to get my daughter at so-and-so. Well, that's great, but you know what? That doesn't interfere. Because the thing is, if you are not going to take time out of your day to pick up your mother or your niece from the airport, there's a problem, and that's just so fucked up. Like, that's just like really fucked up. I don't even care about me. I even told this to both my grandma and my mom. Like, I don't give a shit about me. The fact that your own daughters are not gonna even pick you up from the airport is bullshit. So my grandma, being the nice but sadly naive person who she is, because I love my grandma, but she's naive at times. She was like, well, she was making excuses and, oh, they gotta do this. But the thing is, what wasn't matching up was, in one of the cases, my aunt's daughter, so my cousin, had to go to tutoring for 2 hours. Okay, you go there an hour, you pick us up, you bring us back, get your daughter. So it would have made complete sense if one aunt in particular helped us out. Both aunts were like, no, we don't help, whatever. So I'm calling my dad, and I'm freaking the hell out. I'm like, we have no way home. I have no idea what the fuck we're gonna do. Mom's not gonna pay you the money for whatever. She doesn't feel as though she has to. She's looking at getting an Uber or a Lyft for us home, and I was like, "This is so fucking stupid." Like, Mom, just pay it. At least we'll have a real ride home. No, she was not budging, and I was freaking the hell out. Like, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm not gonna get home. I'm not gonna get home, and my family sucks. Like, my mom's family sucks ass." So again, I'm talking to my dad. I calmed down after like an hour, and I'm like, "Listen, we have no ride home. Mom is dead set on not paying you anything, and she wants to she wants to get an Uber." And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable with that. So I said, Dad, can you please pick us up? I understand you need the money, or you want the money for gas, food, whatever, but we have no way home, and we're gonna be stuck in Hartford, like, you know. So what happened was, my dad was like, "Listen, I will come pick you up. Text me before you get on the plane, and we will work it out. Just don't tell your mother, because that's the thing. My mom doesn't want to help the cause, and she doesn't want to do the right thing that she needs to do as a parent or a daughter in this case, because she's my mom and my grandma's daughter. So what was, before we got on the plane, we're waiting for a flight. I'm texting my dad, my pay, waiting for the plane. We get off at this time at Hartford. And he's like, okay, fine, I'll pick you up. So luckily, my dad was really nice to save the day. Save the day, and the thing is, he brought us to the airport. He made sure my grandma was packed. Again, who is not his mom, who is my mom's mom. He made sure that she had the right bags, the right amount of bags, and I'll get into that too, because this is only like a really short story, it's only like 10 minutes. And he made sure that we had a plan to make sure that we got to the airport smoothly. Now, this was just how we got home. Now, I'm going to tell you about the story about getting there, because that was another freaking story to tell, and this is a short story. So, my mom got us plane tickets for the airline Spirit. Now, I've flown JetBlue, I've flown Delta, I've flown Spirit, I've flown a lot of different types of airlines. My favorite is JetBlue, it's more comfortable, Well, Spirit is flights for super cheap, like dirt ass cheap prices. Like if you have like a family of 3 or a family of 4, like Spirit's the way to go. Now there are certain regulations when flying with Spirit. One, you have to bring your own snacks because they're gonna charge you up the wall for snacks, and you can only pay for those snacks by credit card. So if you have cash, you ain't getting nothing. So you have to bring your own snacks. Like that's a given. Bring your own drinks, your own snacks, because they're gonna charge you like $5 for a bottle of water. You have to pay by a credit card, which is bull crap or whatever. The other thing is you are limited to your bag size. Now, to my knowledge, your bag can be like your carry-on can be a certain amount of dimensions. I can't remember the name of them right now, but if you go on Google and you type in Spirit carry-on dimensions, I'm pretty sure that will come up. So for your carry-on, it has to be certain dimensions. Now, your bag, like if you check in a bag, it has to be about 40 pounds or under, and it will be free. I think that's correct. I'm not sure, but again, Google it. It will be there. So your bag has to be 40 pounds or under, and it has to be a certain height or whatever. Although I got away with the bag I had a big luggage, so my bag was free, or it wasn't free, but it cost me. But I met the dimensions. That's the only thing I'm trying to tell you. So at the time, my grandma was living in Naugatuck, which is like north of here. No, it's south of here. It's by Shelton. So my dad and I took the time out of our Saturday or Sunday, a couple days before, a day or so before we went on the trip, and we talked to my grandmother. We had the bag for her that was appropriate with the dimensions, and we packed it. Now, the other thing was, so she was at my aunt's house. So my aunt was not helping. She was questioning us. It was just a mess. Like, she was like sabotaging the whole time. And so we had the right kind of bag for my grandma because she didn't really need that many clothes, because we could do laundry at my mom's house. So that was good. So I didn't bring too much. She didn't bring too much. Well, actually, my grandma ended up doubling on a lot of things. I don't know why, but we'll get into that too. So we picked out the right size bag for her. And we measured it too to make sure it was appropriate. So then, after we packed the bag, because we packed the bag in advance, and we put it in my dad's car, so we already had the bag. So we already had my bag, but we packed a lot of her stuff with my bag. Like we packed her pants, some undergarments, stuff like that, some shirts, and so we split a bag. Me and my grandma split up my big luggage. So the plan was she was gonna come down the next day, stay at my other aunt's house in Milford, and then we were gonna leave for the plane. And my dad was nice to get off of work early to bring us. Now, with my grandmother, when you set a plan, it 9 times out of 10, actually 10 times out of 10, it's just not gonna work. It just doesn't work. So what happened was, I'm thinking it's the next day the after the 2 days before we packed her bag at my aunt's house. So I'm calling my grandma and I'm like, hey, where are you? She's like, oh, I'm at Debbie's. What? We leave like in 4 hours and we're leaving for the airport in 4 hours and you're there? Like, what happened? So the thing is, I don't know what really happened with that, but the point is, we had a plan, it got screwed up. so, so my grandma comes down by 1, and we were leaving by like 4, 3 or 4 or 5. I can't quite exactly remember the dates, the times, but she got there in time. My dad got out of work, and we were checking my grandma's bag to make sure it's my bag. My grandma switched the bags. My grandma switched the bags, and we don't even think it was fully my grandma's fault. We think my aunt kind of sabotaged it because my oldest aunt does not get along with my mother. So you have my oldest aunt, my second oldest aunt, my mother, and then my youngest aunt. So we're gonna give them names. We have Aunt blah 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 with, and she's the oldest, and then you have Aunt Glade, who's the second oldest. You have my mother, and then you have Aunt Pesto. There we go. So just so you get an idea, so Aunt blah 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 does not get along with my mother. So I personally think to this day my Aunt blah 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 sabotaged it, and she gave my grandma a bigger bag. Personally, that's just my own preference. I can't prove it. I don't know, but that's just my own opinion. So my grandma is coming to me with this big bag, and it's like a duffel bag, but you can wheel it like a luggage sort of, but it's mainly a duffel bag. And it was really big, a lot bigger than the other one that we planned. And my dad was looking at it, he's like, listen, Mary, that's not going to meet the requirements. Like, my dad is so funny because he's like, that's not going to meet the requirements. And she's like, oh, yeah, it is. And I'm like, Grandma, that's not going to meet the requirements of a carry-on, because your carry-on has to be a certain requirements, certain height, weight, whatever the case may be. So we're on the ride up to the airport, and I'm like, this is not going to be good. And I'm like, listen, Grandma, we have to have a plan in case that bag is too big, because they're going to charge you X amount of dollars for that reason. So that's the other reason why I'm not big on Spirit, because they will charge you for everything else. Like, the flight is cheap, but they'll charge you extra for water. They'll charge you extra for a soda. They'll charge you extra for candy. They'll charge you extra if your bag's not the right requirements. So we get through security. I'm sick as a dog. My nose is running. I have a headache. I'm having a fever. I'm just like, I don't want to even be here right now. I'm like dying. Like, I'm trying to look good, but I'm dying because I have a cold or a flu or whatever. So they call us to board the plane. Now, obviously, my grandma was in a wheelchair because she's old, and the problem is with my grandma, she gets very distracted. So the thing is, like, we'll be going in a direction to go to where we want, and then she wants to go to the store because she wants to get something, and we're like, no, we can't do that. So I got someone to wheel her in a wheelchair. Point blank, period. That was it. So we get to the place where we're starting to board the plane, and and I go to walk by because I'm asking about the bag, and they measure it, and my grandma's sitting in the wheelchair by the desk thing by the door where you go on the plane. The woman measures the bag. It's too big. I'm like, okay, it's too big. She's like, that's gonna be $60. I'm like, okay. So I walk from where we're behind the desk, and I go to my grandma. I'm like, $60. And I just said that. I was like, I didn't say it's going to be $60. I didn't say, Grandma, we have to pay for it. I just said $60. Like, that's it. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's $60. They don't play here. And this is why we did what we did to make sure that this did not happen. And she's like, well, I don't want to pay it. Well, I'm like, Grandma, if you don't pay it, you ain't going to have no clothes. Like, you got to pay it. We got to go. Like, we're going. And it was just point blank, she paid it. But overall, that was going there, and that was coming home. And I'm so grateful that my dad helped me get home. He helped me and my grandma both get home. Again, who is not his biological mother, it's my mom's mom. My two aunts. What the hell is wrong with you? Like, honestly, you can't help your mom get home? Like, I mean, I was having anxiety. Like, I was like, oh my god, I'm not gonna get home. Like, what the fuck? Like, oh my god. Point blank, period. That's about it. I'm so grateful for my father, though. He helped me get home. He helped me get there. You know, he planned and planned and planned and planned and planned, and he is a good guy for that. So, this was my comical, somewhat interesting story about how I got home from Florida and what was going to happen, and then what happened when I got there to Florida. Of course, at the time I was not having it, but now I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny. Some parts are funny, some parts are not funny. And yes, I will see you in my next video. I love you guys, my fellow creepers. And like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. It's free. It's not gonna cost you anything, and it will help me get a little bit more notice as a smaller channel. Let me know if anything's happened. Let me know if anything has happened to you guys like this, similarly. Again, like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if anything's happened to you like this. Alright, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.